Hey everyone, welcome to my official Forza Horizon 5 test track. It's finally here, and in this video, I'll be showing it off of course, going into a bit of background on the track creation, and explaining how to use it. And also, you should stay tuned to learn how you can have a chance at naming one of the corners on this track. Now, the Hoki test track in Horizon 4 was a big part of my channel in a variety of ways, and a silhouette of the track even adorns the B-pillar of the Hoki Edition Supra. So I knew, when creating my Horizon 5 track, that I had to up the ante and make it something really special. Now, it's finally here, and I am super excited to show it off, because there's a lot more than meets the eye. So for starters, let's just talk about what this track is for and what my goals were going into it. Primarily, this is the circuit I'll be testing cars on for the car review series. And yes, now that the track is done, car reviews are coming back, and this circuit will act as the proving grounds for every car I review. Its second purpose, though, is more for you. This track should be a great place to test your tunes and see how your own cars stack up against each other. We will, of course, host a running all-time leaderboard, as well as some special events that run on this circuit in the Discord server. So with the intentions in mind, I assembled a crack team of people to help me, including some of my mods, legendary track creator Grumpy, and Event Lab Rules genius Pickle. And we started scouting out locations. I knew I wanted some good elevation change, some hairpins, interesting corners, and for the track to be fun in both low and high class cars. We also had lap time to consider. I wanted it to be long enough to clearly show performance differences in the times between cars, while also short enough to not feel like a drag when you just want to quickly send a few laps for testing. We went through dozens of potential locations and track layouts, but this one immediately stuck out to me for a few reasons. I loved how it encompassed a few different biomes. You start deep in the jungle, but then open up into a somewhat barren landscape. You can see the volcano and get a glimpse of Mulahe as well, before diving back into the trees. It just has a great aesthetic. On top of that though, interestingly enough, this track is quite thematically similar to my Horizon 4 track. It's got similar elevation change, a winding uphill hairpin, similar high-speed bends, and it's about the same length. It feels like driving the Horizon 5 version of my old test track. So right away, I fell in love with this layout. Then came the long and arduous task of prop placement. I am not a track creator. In fact, the test track is kind of my first real project in the event lab outside of just messing around a bit. Grumpy was incredibly helpful here in helping me understand what good prop placement looks like and what I should focus on. I wanted to make the track look exciting and interesting while keeping it in the theme of a vanilla-style Horizon racetrack, and almost more importantly, making sure that older console players could still play it with good performance, so it couldn't be too prop dense. I focused many of the props into just a few sections of the map, but the main thing you're likely to notice are the walls throughout the track. Although I don't want things to feel too tight, I also want a handling focus on the track, and don't want people cheesing road limits. And the walls do a great job of not only encouraging precise cornering and more grip focus, but also amping up the sense of speed and intensity of the track. Let's go ahead and do a bit of a walkthrough of the whole course before moving on to the custom rules Pickle created. We start high in the jungle, surrounded by barriers. On a hot lap, this downhill left-hander will test your cornering at speed in both low and high classes. Then over the bridge straight, we come to a major braking zone marked by these red flags every 100 feet. This breaks into a tight 90-degree left that you should extend out into a sort of rhythm and flow section, as I like to call it. This whole downhill is pretty tight, but fun if taken properly, and is a phenomenal suspension test, particularly for damping and alignment, as you never really get a chance to straighten and settle the car. Each apex and corner flows right into the next, all the way down into the final slight right into hard left, a fantastic corner that can be really hard to nail down. Then you can settle the car and set up for the smooth left into a banked tight right. You can carry a lot of speed around this if you set up the corner well. From here, just past this checkpoint, we enter Sector 2, and the course opens up for some high-speed testing. We have a great mid-length straight here over another bridge, then dive into some high-speed cornering with some good elevation change. This is a really fun spot for high-class grip builds. Coming out of it though, we have another major braking zone into a tight uphill left-hander with kind of a tricky apex, and then enter the hairpins that climb us back up into the jungle. The walls are pretty tight here, and you'll need to adjust your line to make sure you don't hit them. This is a big cornering section of the map, ending on another very tricky uphill left-hander with bad camber, but there is a bit of a blind cut to shoot for once you learn the corner. Out of Sector 2, we come to the final sector of the lap, a high-speed sweeper through the jungle with a trick up its sleeve, the chicane. After gaining some pretty significant speed through the bends in the jungle, you'll want to set up your braking line perfectly coming into the tires leading into the chicane. Otherwise, you'll lock up or spin, but done just right, you'll shoot through these barriers and keep some good speed on acceleration to the final corners and end of the lap. Ultimately, it's a track that doesn't favor grip or power too much in either direction. Everything is needed here, and all aspects of your car will be tested. Now, let's get into the really cool bits, what I feel makes this track something truly special. The custom rule set, almost entirely created by Pickle. When you load up the track, you'll see a prompt urging you to look to the top left of the HUD. Here you can see your potential best lap time. This is a combination of your best sector times in seconds, so you can see that if you string your best sector 1, 2, and 3 together into one good lap, what your time would be. You can also see your current checkpoint, and if you hit the activate button, the back button on controller, but might be X if you play in automatic, you'll see the tabs change, and here you can see the sector times of your best lap. Compare these with your best sectors on the next tab to see where you can improve. For example, if your best lap contains some sectors that are slower than some of your best sectors, well, you know you have room to improve. Below this window, you can also see that even though the race is technically 50 laps, at any time, you can end the race by simply hitting your activate button and the handbrake at the same time. It'll pop you right into the race finished screen where you can see your best lap time, view the replay, or restart and mess with your tune. This is the screen we'll want to see for leaderboard submissions, by the way. But back on the track, I've got a few more features to show off. You get time deltas after each sector, green if you were faster, red if you were slower. This is measured in milliseconds, so treat the comma like a decimal point. For example, a green 2150 means 2.15 seconds faster. A red 846 means 0.846 seconds slower. This will compare against your best lap if you're on the best lap menu in the top left there, and it will compare against your best sectors if you're on the best sector menu. Menus 1 and 4 won't show up with any deltas. Currently, unfortunately, there is a bit of a rounding error bug with Event Lab, meaning sector time displays might be off by a small margin. But hopefully that's resolved quickly, and it should still be useful in its current state. Either way though, moving on to the final major feature of the custom rules, wall slowdowns. Yes, it's clean laps only here. If you collide with any walls or tires at anything more than a light scrape, you will be slowed down for just a second or so before getting your power back. This, along with the ability to keep lapping and end whenever you want, makes the track feel very much like Rivals. You'll want to shoot for clean laps because any wall hits will slow you down and hurt your time. Now, don't worry. If you're listening to all this and thinking, wow, that's a lot. Maybe I just want to cruise the track with my buddies or not have to worry about wall slowdowns and sector times. Well, I have made a second version of the track that also happens to take place at night without any custom rules. It's just 3 laps, no AI, and rewind is enabled. This should be great for multiplayer sessions or just driving the track solo without having to worry about the Rivals rule set. Now, I do want to say here that although I've been putting the share codes for both tracks up on screen, that it is possible, in fact even likely, that there may be updates to one or both tracks over time. This test track is meant to last the life of Horizon 5, and so it may need some upkeep from time to time. As such, make sure you check the video description for the current share codes, just in case they change. We will also make sure to keep the current share code updated on my website and the Discord server. And you can always, of course, just look at my creator hub on Forza to see any of the events I have shared. So if you're interested to get up on those leaderboards, keep an eye out on the Discord where we'll be running all of that. Now, before we wrap up this video, I want to let you know how you can have a permanent place on this track and in my car review videos by naming a part of the track. On May 27th at 1 p.m. US Central, I'll be playing Horizon 5 for a charity stream on Twitch for Games for Love. And if you are one of the top donors to the charity that day, I'll work with you to name a corner of your choice. Here on screen is the current layout with numbered sections, and you can see not just corners will be named, there's 2 straights as well, and some sections or bends will be named instead of just single corners. This is a bit subject to change by the time of the stream, but currently there are 15 nameable sections, and it is first come, first serve. So make sure you're hanging out with us on Twitch May 27th for your chance to name a little part of Hokie history. And there will be other prizes, giveaways, and milestones to shoot for that day, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun day, and I hope to see you there. Alright everyone, and that is going to do it for the showcase of this test track. I really hope this was worth the wait, and I'm really excited to get back to doing some car reviews on this track as well. So everyone, I hope you enjoy the track. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you out there.